Hello, and welcome to building the next generation game data platform using Firestore. My name is Nguyen, and I am the Senior Product Management Lead for Firestore. Joined with me today are also Martin Livesey, Director of Software Engineering for 2K, and also Marcelo Pinheiro, Staff Solutions Engineer at Google. We have an exciting session for you today. And we'll kick it off with a brief overview of Firestore, followed with new feature announcements. The highlight of the session will be a fireside chat with 2K. We'll wrap it up with live questions and answers from audience members like yourself. Let's get started. Firestore's mission is to help you unlock application innovation with simplicity, speed, and confidence. We do this in 3 ways. The first is through an enterprise-grade document database that offers flexible JSON queryability, serializable ACID-based transactions in a distributed and sharded environment, and key integrations with GCP's billing, monitoring, and security tools. Secondly, Firestore offers hands-free scalability. You can elastically scale Firestore both up and down with no intervention. Firestore also offers 99.999% SLA-backed availability guarantees. And this is managed through automatic replication. And in the rare event that your replica does go down, there is 0 data loss and 0 downtime. Thirdly, Firestore is focused on developer ergonomics to make you more productive. Firestore is supported in over 17 languages and SDKs, including backend languages like Java, and client-side SDK languages like JavaScript. Firestore's client-side SDKs offer unique capabilities like real-time synchronization and offline caching. And you can have the confidence that when you adopt Firestore, you will be a participant in a large developer community. More importantly, Firestore has over 5 million databases created to date. And Firestore applications power over 1.3 billion monthly active end users using Firebase Auth. We realize that your company's value is within the products and services that you offer, and that long application development timelines hinder your ability to maximize that value. So let's explore a little bit why application development takes so long. What you see here is a common multi-tier application architecture. You start with your database, then with your microservices, API gateways, and then a number of UI clients that access those backend services. Each tier of that application architecture requires operations. That includes availability, scalability, and security. With serverless products like Firestore, you can delegate the operations of your services to Google. Now, serverless technologies tend to give enterprise customers the right balance between customizability and efficiency. But on the Firestore team, we felt like we could do a little bit more. One of the factors that plays into a multi-tier architecture is the need to hire for multiple specializations. And when you hire for those multiple specializations, you also have complex project management across those specializations, which tends to slow innovation. With this insight in mind, Firestore developed a mode of access in which we call backend as a service. And with backend as a service, your UI clients can directly access Firestore in a secure manner. And when you bundle this with universal application frameworks like Unity or with Flutter, you can develop against a single code base and deploy across all major platforms, including web, mobile, and desktop. So the combination of Firestore and Flutter allows you to focus on hiring for a single specialization. And with that team, you can give that team the autonomy to operate. That enables rapid innovation. So to summarize, Firestore is first and foremost an enterprise-grade serverless document database. But it also offers an optional mode of access in which we call backend as a service. Okay, this next section covers new feature announcements. But before I begin, I want to quickly acknowledge the hard work that our cross-functional team has been putting in to make today possible. Thank you, Firestore team. Our feature announcements today focus on 3 major buckets. The first is developer productivity, the second is manageability, and the third is unified data cloud. Let's get started with developer productivity. So we know that in developing rich applications, you also need rich query functionality. And I'm excited to share today that we are announcing a new set of query aggregation functions. With sum and average, you'll be able to calculate aggregations across your documents. We're also taking count to general availability. And frequently, you want to be able to conduct queries across multiple fields and multiple values. We're taking or and in to general availability as well. Okay, all the rage is around AI and ML. And with all the work that we've been doing around pre-trained models, the access to large language models has definitely been democratized. But there's still quite a bit of work in regards to the last mile. How do you apply that AI and ML to your data? Firestore is aiming to bridge that gap. With our new text enrichment extensions, you'll be able to detect toxic hate speech with a matter of a few clicks of a button. Similarly, you'll be able to summarize long-form text, translate text in over 135 languages, and even transcribe audio. With media enrichment extensions, you'll be able to classify images, convert speech to text, and even perform optical character recognition and store that in Firestore. Lastly, with our interactive AI extensions, you'll be able to utilize Firestore and popular services like Vertex AI in order to build your next chatbot. In addition to productivity, we're also focused on manageability. With multiple databases, you'll be able to create individual databases that are isolated for security and performance. And you'll be able to monitor those databases and view the bills of them independently. With point-in-time recovery, Firestore will version control your data and hold on to that history within our online storage system. We make that data directly queryable to you so that in the event of a human error, you can recover rapidly. And with scheduled backups, Firestore will capture and retain your backups in a cold storage system. Another component of manageability is observability. We've extended Firestore's key visualizer to help you identify indexing hotspots. I'm also happy to share that Firestore is now available in over 27 locations globally. Okay, we want to make it easier for you to unify your data services. And with Firestore's BigQuery extensions, you'll be able to bidirectionally link Firestore and BigQuery. Let's say that you have a set of live election results that are coming in and being stored in BigQuery, but you really need to serve those results to your end users using Firestore. With a few simple clicks, you'll be able to set up scheduled export jobs from BigQuery to Firestore. And with our new event arc triggers, you'll be able to subscribe to database changes and to deliver those changes to compute environments like GKE, Cloud Run, and Cloud Functions. This is really great for use cases like data replication, to use engines like full text search. Okay, this wraps up our new feature announcements. I'd like to now invite Martin and Marcelo on stage. Martin and Marcelo will be conducting a live Fireside chat to reflect on 2K's journey on Firestore.
Thanks, man. Hello, everybody. My name is Marcelo Pinheiro. Let me introduce myself first. I'm a staff solutions engineer here at Google. I work with the coolest, greatest, latest, cutting-edge technology, tap on my back, at Google, and the best customers. That's a great combination. So, Martin, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thanks very much, Marcelo. So I'm Martin Livesey. I'm a director of software engineering inside the core technology group at 2K.
Awesome. So, just to level set expectations and the knowledge base here, why don't you talk to us about 2K Games in your role in your team? What do you guys do there?
Okay, so 2K Games is a division of Take-Two. We're one of the publishing labels of Take-Two. We have 7 studios that produce many iconic games that you've all seen, loved, played over the years. NBA is approaching its 25th year in production. You may have come across titles like Civilization, XCOM, and BioShock. These are all 2K games. So that's, as part of 2K, kind of like we have a core technology group that develops an online backend as a service. The database behind that is just one piece of the tool set that we provide to all of our studios.
Awesome. Minh did a phenomenal job presenting the new features. I'm super excited about them all. I'm not going to give you a hard time. Pick one. Which feature are you eager to adopt next? And why is that important for you?
Okay.
Just one.
Yep. So of all of the things that Minh talked about, one that's most of interest to us is the isolation of databases into different things. Right now, how the system is implemented, we have one shared back-end database. And maybe some of you know something about games. When games go live, the load that's on them is incredibly spiky. Inside the first couple of days, we can have 10 times or more load that we would normally expect for steady state on the games. So if I've got a back-end as a service that's supporting multiple titles with a database, I'm going to have some nervous titles that are already out there and being used because they don't want the new title to come in, steal all of the performance at the back end. So if I can segregate out that data between different databases, then I have a bunch of very happy studios that feel confident that we can launch our new titles and their title isn't going to get affected.
Awesome. So avoiding the noisy neighbor problem, right?
Very much so, yes.
Awesome. So let's back to the future kind of moment. Looking back when we started talking, can you elaborate more on the what problems we're trying to solve when you approached Google, and why Google Cloud was your partner of choice?
So I initially heard about kind of like the idea behind open saves about 4 years ago. It was a nascent idea inside Google at the time, and it was really just targeted at game saves only, nothing else. And I really tried to challenge Google to come up, turn the dial up to 11, guys, let's see what else we can develop here. And kind of like take that bigger view of kind of like what you can do with the system. So with that partnership, we put together a whole scale of kind of like how can we store other data in there. So the kinds of data that we store in a database now are like the loadouts of characters, configurations of the online game, such that if we're operating and we want to change the behavior of the game, we can actually do it in real time while the game is running. And then there is the initial thing that we had as well, which is all of the game saves. Why Google? Kind of like, last I heard, you guys know a little bit about scaling.
Yeah, that's fair.
One or two things.
Yeah.
Where does 2K want to go? Scale, scale, scale. Think about a title like NBA. Think about the scale that that title goes to. Kind of like, we need to be able to onboard a title like that instantaneously, no issues. So that's why we partnered with Google. But we needed a performant and cost-effective solution as well. So that's what the kind of like the system that we're going to describe in the next slide kind of like really allows us to do.
Awesome. So we talked about the problems we're trying to solve, open saves concept. Let's talk a little bit about how we build this together. And any conversation without an architecture slide, at least to me, is not a conversation to start with. So let's put a sneak peek of the architecture slide. That's just a snapshot of one of the backends. I understand that there are other components. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yep.
You use Agonis as the game fleet management. Mark is there. Open match with the matchmaking systems, all running on top of GKE, right?
Correct.
So I'll stop now. It's your talk. Can you walk us through the architecture flow and how it works?
Absolutely. So this is your generic architecture slide for any online service. They all look the same. On the right side is open saves. So this is the framework that we get to Firestore through. There's an in-memory layer for all of our rapid access items. Then Firestore is the primary usage. This is where all of the generalized unstructured stuff goes, primarily JSON objects, but could be anything in there, images, strings, whatever. And then the game saves tend to end up in the kind of like the large bulk storage area. So fronting that, we have what we internally built at 2K, which we call Cloud Data. It's a gateway, and it adds in kind of like extra stuff that we need to be able to do. So we need to know, who does this data belong to? Kind of like, which customer's data is this? Which game title? Is it serving? Is it kind of, as we'll talk about in a minute, is it PGA? Is it Midnight Suns data? And then finally, kind of like, we need some kind of access permissions around these things. I don't want one game to be able to read the data of another game. So we have a whole set of read-write permissions that allow you to kind of like keep the data segregated between all of the titles. And then on the front of that, there is the SDK that we use internally at 2K to attach into all of our games.
Yeah, and I can see the global, are you done? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see the global load balancer there that gives the global planet scale, reach and scalability.
Yep.
So all this is beautiful on these slides, great. Let's make sure that we talk to the audience about what is actually running on these things, right?
Absolutely.
Shall we talk about it?
Yep.
Wrong button.
So you may have heard of some of these titles. All of these came out within the last few months. All of these are completely supported using the cloud data, open saves, and Firestore architecture that we talked about. So PGA 23 is the 2K golf game. All of the data around how the system behaves, and then as you're playing the game, how do my statistics accumulate between all of the swings that I take, all of the shots I make in the golf game. They're all stored in this online backend. Marvel Midnight Suns has a completely different usage pattern because it's a very different kind of game. But similarly, they store small, unstructured data for many different things, but then they also have large game saves that they store, several megabytes at a time, that is built into the back end. It's great because we don't have to change anything. The game team can just throw things in there, it goes in the right place. And then the most recent title that really is using all of the capabilities of the system is Lego 2K Drive. It's got everything in there. We store configuration files for the title, such that, as I mentioned, you can change the behavior of the game on the fly. The client picks it up, and it's all stored in one place in the database.
That's awesome. So can I conclude that you have some experience launching games?
A little bit. We might have launched one or two.
Okay, let's talk about gaming launch experience.
Yeah.
Right? You've launched those games using Google Cloud. Can you talk us a bit about experience using Firestore? You must have a big team.
We actually have a very small team.
Powerful then.
Thank you. Kind of like the internal team that developed the cloud data platform, the gateway, is only 2 people. So it's small.
So
yes.
if you didn't have a serverless Firestore backend with low ops,
we wouldn't be doing this kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the question then. Launching games. Can you talk about the experience of launching games with Google Cloud? How the Firestore team help? How your account team help launching those games?
Yeah. So I'll kind of like talk about the PGA title because this was the first launch of a game using brand new technology. People are always nervous launching a new game when there hasn't been another game shipped on it before. They're worried about, is it going to work? You can do all the testing in the universe that you want to do, but no one's confident until it's actually out there supporting it. We had a minor hiccup. Guess what? New technology. Things always work perfectly first time, right? Maybe not. We had a little bit of a hiccup, but the Google team was there for us. They were there. They had 24-hour rotation through the first 2 weeks along with us to make sure that when there were any issues that we could pick these up and we could actually do something with it.
Awesome. What I like about this example is like, in this case particularly, one of the features that Minh presented, the key visualizer with indexing, that was key to identify the hotspotting. And then,
so we had the issue, we couldn't work it out. Google opened up their box of tricks, and the key visualizer wasn't even in pre-production yet. You kind of like said, hey, we've got a new tool, it's coming, it's not live yet. As kind of like, one of the partners that we're working with, we're going to take it out of the box now and use it, and it was exactly the tool that we needed to sort out the minor hiccup. We had an index clash, and the visualizer picked it up straight away, solved the issue. We were done and dusted in a couple of days.
Awesome. And just going back to the launch experience, we have a very robust process, as Martin was describing a little bit of it. And our goal, we strive to make gaming launches as boring as possible. And at the end of the launch, someone sends the meme of, this launch could have been an email. That's the goal. So if we have that, we achieved our goal, right?
Yep.
So
Midnight Suns, Lego 2K Drive, from an open saves and a cloud data perspective, completely boring. Kind of no issues whatsoever, very happy internal teams, their games launched at scale, kind of like out of the box.
That's awesome. We talked about back to the future. I'm going to put a crystal ball right here. Now look into the future. What does the future look like for you?
Maybe, just maybe, we might be making some more games. You never know. I can't talk about what they might be yet. Maybe you can guess some of them. So All of this technology is going to go into pretty much every new game that 2K is building over time. And then that kind of gateway that I talked about earlier, the cloud data gateway that we constructed to kind of like build on top of OpenSaves. Our intent is to also open source all of that technology as well. We're going to kind of like D2Kify it, so it's very generic, but that's our goal, is to open source that technology.
Awesome. Thanks again for the years of strong collaboration partnership.
Likewise.
Thanks to you and your team, the whole 2K team. I'd like to thank also my team, the whole support team from Google. They're there. Thanks for all the help.